Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest joining me here for a quick chat on CNN News 18. Adarsh Gourav, you saw him in Mom. You saw him in the recent trending series on Netflix, Guns and Gulabs. You saw him in several other projects like The White Tiger as well. Adarsh, thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18. Let me begin with saying all the nice things that I have jotted down for you. You are so young. You have prodigious amount of talent with you. You have played so many iconic roles. I'm so confused at which exact iconic role should I be beginning with. But I want to ask you that how do you feel about the massive and humongous success that you received after Guns and Gulabs? Because it's a still trending player on Netflix, if I'm not wrong.
Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you for all the kind words. It feels really nice, you know. I feel like ultimately, even though as an actor I work for myself, and the projects that I choose because of the ones that I want to be a part of because of my reasons. Uh, you are working for the validation of the audience. So, like when people appreciate your work and they appreciate the show that you're in, it feels really nice. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, lovely. And how do you feel about your favorite actor? Because I have seen you working with Rajkummar Rao before also. This is the second time I think you are sharing screen with him. How do you want to tell us more about the bond you two share?
Rajbhai is one of the warmest people and the most genuine people that I know. Um, you know, it's so amazing how we've spent the last 3 or 4 years doing a film first and then a show first. And, I really look up to him as my elder brother. I seek advice from him, I seek guidance from him. And I feel like even within this short period of time, he's been there for me through really tough times in my personal life as well. And I just feel he's such a fantastic and giving actor, like he's the dream co-actor that you can have for like anybody. Because he's so giving and he's constantly like he'll keep you on your toes as an actor. You can never be easy when like you can never be like um you can never feel like you know how to do the scene because that guy will do something and throw you off. So you'll always have to be on your toes, and that is a very very beautiful quality to have. And yeah, I just feel like I'm so fortunate to call him my co-actor and my friend.
Lovely. And as I was asking you before, is there any actor, a specific actor that you earnestly want to share screen with? Because you have, I think, already worked with such big names. You have worked with, as we talked about, Rajkumar Rao. You have worked with Shah Rukh Khan as well in the past. You have worked with Priyanka Chopra. Is there any other actor that you would love to share screen with?
My biggest regret is to not uh, have met Irfan Sab and to not have shared screen space with him. Um, the tragedy is that I only begun to understand his greatness after he passed.
Hmm.
I feel like I was too young and too immature to understand the greatness of Irfan Sab before. And you realize that he was not just an actor but a philosopher. There was so much depth in every character that he played, and so much stillness yet so much fluidity. And the more I think about him, the more I realize how great he is.
Yeah.
And that would always be my biggest regret to not having. I mean, of course, like to not being able to work with him is one thing, but also to not have never been able to
Yeah.
meet him. Sorry, yeah,
Mhm. Understandable. He was everybody's favorite. He's such a legendary
yeah,
actor he was.
yeah.
I want to ask you, when you first read the script of Guns and Gulabs, what was that one thing that struck you the most? What do you exactly seek in your scripts when you read them, and how challenging this particular Jugnu's role was to you?
What I seek from any character is the opportunity for transformation. Uh, what struck me about this character was again sort of um, how many insecurities he had and how inadequate he felt constantly in this world full of gangsters where there was no there was no feminine energy, there was no mother, there was no sister. And we when we sort of spoke about the backstory, Raj sir, DK sir, and me, we we discussed about the possibility of having an elder sister who probably got married and sent away, who's probably his only confidant. And
Yeah.
now, and he's got only one person in this world, Nirmal, who's supposedly his best friend, but I don't
Yeah.
think Nirmal wants to be his best friend. It's a one-sided relationship.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
just to think of this person who's so lonely in life, who doesn't know where he belongs, who doesn't know what he wants from life, who can't understand his father, whose father can't understand him. There's so many layers, like, like sort of going over each other. But having said that, I feel like every character that I play and every person that you end up playing, for anybody, not just me, I feel is equally complex because every human being is so unique.
Yeah.
And if you actually think about it, like, we're all such complex individuals, and to actually get into the detail of that and to be able to play somebody honestly requires a lot of hard work, which is why I
Yeah.
feel like every character that I end up playing is equally complex.
Yeah, definitely. So you tend to get inside that role completely. How do you take yourself out of that zone as well?
Uh, take myself out of the zone, as in, like, what?
Yeah, just disconnecting yourself from that particular role, because we have heard a lot of actors talking about getting completely submerged inside the role that they have been playing, psychologically speaking, and then they tend to become somewhat like the character they are playing on screen as well. So how difficult does that become for an actor to pull yourself out of that character as well?
Well, every human being is just a set of, like, patterns. So, like, we all have these recurring patterns and habits as human beings that I feel like when I get into a character, I just try to, like, grab onto these habits and patterns of people.
Hmm.
So obviously, when you practice something for months together, it sort of becomes part of your body.
Interesting.
It's like
Interesting.
if you train yourself to run on one leg, after
Hmm.
after 20 days of running on one leg, it'll be weird for you to use both legs to run. If you're
Yeah.
hopping for 20 days,
Yeah.
suddenly after 20 days, if you put your second foot down, you'll be like, that this feels so strange. That's
Hmm.
exactly how it is for me to play a character also, because I believe in not just the mental and spiritual transformation, but also the physical transformation of a person, of a character. So, like,
Definitely.
I approach it from all angles. So it does feel a bit weird when the shoot ends, because you get used to speaking like somebody else and moving like somebody else, and there's, like, these slight changes that you make, right? Like, for example, Adarsh could walk with his weight on his pelvis, but in his pelvis, but Ganchi Junior walks with the weight in his butt. Like, there's a
Yeah.
lot of sway of the butt when I walk as Ganchi
Yeah.
Junior.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, these slight kind of differences that come. So, like, when you do it for 2 months and then when you have to stop doing it, it does feel weird. So it,
Hmm.
it takes some time to gradually sort of wear off. Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, it's not the switch in and switch off, technique as well. Since we are talking about Guns and Gulabs,
Hmm.
आदर्श सतीश कौशिक जी के बारे में मैं आपसे बात करना चाहती हूँ. He's the legendary late actor. Entire nation wept for him. We saw a lot of actors, having tears in their eye while talking about him as well. What was the mood on the ground? How did the team respond to it when you first heard about his demise? What was the sentiment?
I was shooting in Nasik when I found out about it. And it was
Hmm.
2 days after Holi, and he messaged me during Holi. A happy birthday, hero. Happy Holi, hero. And I messaged him back. And when I read it in the news, I think it came on my Instagram first, and somebody's story. I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it, to be honest. It's so strange. Death is just such a strange phenomenon, And yeah, I still have a hard time believing it, because he played my father in this, So we
Yeah.
spent a lot of time on and off set together, listening to his stories, and he spoke so much about his journey when he came to Bombay in the 1970s, and I'm
Hmm.
very fascinated by Bombay of that era of the 70s and 60s Bombay. So I used to ask him a lot of questions about how Bombay used to look and how Yari Road and Warsaw used to look, about where he stayed. And he told me these stories about how when he came to Bombay first, the building where he used to stay, Raj Classic,
Mm-hmm.
there was no building that time, obviously, there. There was just a big patch of land and these coconut trees and palm trees. And his friend used to stay in a shack in the same area where Raj Classic was. And that's where he first came and stayed in Bombay.
Hmm.
And then many 40 years later, he bought an apartment in Raj Classic and it was built on the same. So just amazing stories like these, that you can only hear from somebody with so much experience and
Definitely.
uh, always kept everything very light, always cracked jokes, kept everybody entertained. It's such a humongous loss for all of us.
Yeah, definitely. And since we are talking about Satish ji also, I want to remember Raju Srivastav ji as well. His last appearance was on your massive hit on Prime Video, Hostel Days, in season 3. When you heard about his death, what was the sentiment? How did your team respond to that?
Yeah, again, actually, Raju sir, the first time I saw him was where I stay now in Andheri. It was in the lane next to my house in
Hmm.
2008. And I remember seeing him carry a bag of vegetables. And I was stunned. I was like, यार इतने बड़े stars भी सब्जी खरीदने जाते हैं क्या? I just guess that's who he was. He was a representation of a common man, which came through in all his sort of sketches when he performed. You could see how well connected he was to the social fabric and to the people, to accurately represent them. And just again like a legendary comedian performer, such a huge loss for all of us. I was completely in shock when I heard about his passing away.
Definitely. His and Satish sir's work has been imprinted on our heart and mind as well. They are going to stay with us forever with the work they have did and the kind of person they were. But let's shift the focus a little bit. Since I mentioned
Yeah.
Hostel Days, I'm a huge fan of Hostel Days. I followed all three
Oh,
series and I loved your character as Ankit Urf Dopaji. Uh, you have left a mark in our mind with your role in Hostel Days as Ankit and Dopa. It looks like you guys made it funny because you had the actual chemistry out there. You were enjoying the roles that you were playing. It did not look like somebody is acting. It looked like somebody is actually having a one-on-one conversation. And this is the real life of boys in hostel.
yeah, Nikhil, Love, and Shubham and me, all four of us are of the same generation, age. We belong to very similar social backgrounds as well. We all come from middle class families from smaller towns. So there was so much connection that we instantly had with each other. And you're right, man. We were just honestly just having a blast on set. Like I don't think we ever took shooting seriously while we were doing Hostel Days. We just really wanted to have fun, and that's what we did. And it was such great fun while it lasted. I did 2 seasons of it as Ankit Pandey, and the best times that I've had on set are with these boys. And I hope that we can work together and reunite again, all four of us.
I'm
I miss
expecting
them.
another season soon. I'm waiting for that. I have my fingers crossed. Please make an announcement really soon. But my another question is you are someone who is famous, I would say famous because now you're extremely popular, uh, who is known for his effortless acting. You make it look so seamless and so smooth on screen. It does not look like acting again. It appears as if somebody is just flowing through the lines, flowing through the screen. What
Thank you
exactly
for
is
saying that.
the mantra behind that? And how long do you get to take to just get inside one role?
Thanks for saying that. It means a lot to me. Um, I usually take 2 to 3 months for preparation. That's one of the things when I get into a project where if I don't have that much time, like I don't feel confident about playing that person or playing that character. Um, again, like as I said, like I see every human being as like these set of patterns that everybody carries and these set of habits that everybody carries. So like I take that much time to really sort of understand. And inspiration can hit you from anywhere. It can hit you on the road while looking at somebody, or it could be from YouTube, from a random video. Because for Ganchi Junior, for example, it was a YouTube video. My
Mhm.
first inspiration was from this guy who was eating an ice cream while he was part of a very important meeting, and which is what I did in the scene, like in episode 3 or 4, I don't remember where. Um SP Mishra and like a couple of other important people are there, and then
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sucking on a mango dolly.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so so my I started building the character from there
Hmm.
because I started tripping on the fact of how you really have to be a man child and not give two shits about where you are and who you're sitting in front of to be able to suck on a mango dolly while there's an important meeting happening.
Mhm.
So
Definitely.
then I started building everything around that.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. So yeah, like I feel like for every character, the way you approach it, inspiration hits you differently from different places, and it keeps changing.
Yeah. Since you're talking about that mango dolly scene, I want to uh, ask you about the scene where I noticed that you are touching all the ornaments that your best friend's wife is wearing. You really adore those ornaments. Could you tell me more about
Sakshi,
that particular scene?
Sakshi, sorry, there's nobody at home and somebody rang the bell. Can I pause it for
Yeah, yeah,
five
yeah.
seconds?
You can, you can, you can. We'll
Oh,
edit that out.
sorry. Okay, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
It was my
okay.
baby. Sorry,
Hi.
sorry.
Okay, yeah. So I was asking you the question about that scene, that particular scene from Guns and Gulabs, where you're actually touching and adoring the ornaments that your best friend's wife is wearing, and it
Yeah,
made you feel little uncomfortable, and your friend smirked, and then became tensed all of a sudden. So I want to understand that scene in a better manner for our viewers.
that scene is just a representation of his man-childness,
Mhm.
of Jugnu not understanding what is not his versus what is his. Because growing up as a gangster's son, there is
Mhm.
not much that he can't claim as his in a small town. Everything that he lays his eyes on and everything that he touches sort of becomes his.
Mhm.
So he doesn't understand the concept of like boundaries. So like when he sees this piece of jewelry that he really likes and that he really sort of admires, he
Yeah.
goes very close to her ear. And but if you notice, my gaze is not creepy.
Hmm.
My gaze is that of wonder. I have wonder in my eyes. I don't have any creepiness in my eyes. That's not my intention.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I guess what Nirmal was reacting off was just the discomfort that he was feeling of me being so like close to his wife and stuff.
Okay.
But that scene is actually just about somebody who doesn't understand boundaries, but not in a creepy way. He's just like really infatuated by the jewelry and by the mehendi. क्योंकि मैं बोलता भी हूँ ये
Yeah.
मेहंदी कितना महीन काम है ये. I'm
Huh.
appreciating stuff, but it's just that the tone of the scene and the way it's shot, it's supposed to confuse you and it's supposed to throw you off
Hmm. It was a
because
beautiful scene.
only in the finale do you realize who this person actually is.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So, a while back, I just mentioned that you have worked with Priyanka Chopra as well for the White Tiger. You played Balram Halwai's
Yeah.
character in that. How challenging was that role? And could you tell us more about your experience with working with the Priyanka Chopra?
So Priyanka is one of the most magnetic people that I've ever met. She has this aura, of like when you speak about aura, you experience it when you're with Priyanka.
Hmm.
She's such a boss. She's just such a boss woman and uh, fantastic actor, great person. Treats everybody around her equally. Very empathetic.
Amazing, amazing. Adarsh, I want to know from you because I know that you are a very
Person,
good
you'll find
singer.
all of that in Priyanka.
Okay, I think I lost
I
connection with you over there. I just lost your
sorry.
voice. Could you repeat your
Yeah,
answer? I'm really sorry.
yeah. I was saying that every quality that you ever desire to look for in any person, you will find all of that in Priyanka. She she's just so amazing. It's and again, like I feel I'm so fortunate to sort of meet these people and to first sort of while growing up see them on screen as like these heroes and heroines, and then when you meet them and you get touched by how beautiful they are as human beings, and then your respect for them goes even higher.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I just feel I'm so fortunate to be calling these kind of like these kind of people my co-actors, my friends in some way, and um, yeah, and Balram Halwai is he's one of the most interesting characters that I've played. Um, there was there was such a massive journey that I took before starting shoot of going and staying in a village undercover where nobody knew who I was, and I pretended to be this unemployed person where people were sort of sharing their grief with me about unemployment, and uh, you kind of feel like you kind of feel bad because you're lying to them essentially, but you're doing it for a part to understand what it actually means to be like that, right? To not have a job and stuff. So yeah, I did that, and then I went to Delhi, worked at a stall where I was cleaning plates for 2 weeks. I was getting paid 100 rupees a day to clean plates, and while you do all these things, you meet so many people that you would never ordinarily meet in your life. You
Hmm.
know, people who you think are is just somebody on the road, but actually, when you start having a conversation with that person, you realize their life is so insanely different and tougher than what yours has been, and it just
Hmm.
completely shifts your perspective about life.
Hmm.
Uh, so I met so many of these people when I was uh, working as Balram before I started shooting. Uh,
Hmm.
People whose names I don't know, people whose names I don't even remember, but they've completely changed my orientation and my way of looking at life. It's yeah, I just feel very blessed to have the opportunity to have played a character like Balram.
And we loved your character in The White Tiger as well. As I
Thank you.
said, you're an
That's
effortless
it.
actor. I don't have to say that again and again, but yeah, we know that you are an amazing singer as well. You have sang quite a few songs. You were part of a band as well. Can we just for our viewers have you sing two lines for us?
Sure, yeah. Uh, what song do you want to listen to?
Whichever song is in your trending list, whatever song you're listening to nowadays.
Nowadays, I'm listening to a song that doesn't have vocals only, but I'll sing this Mehdi Hasan ghazal that I sang with
Okay.
Lisa. Uh, it's called Mujhe Tum Nazar Se.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes, मुझे तुम नजर से गिरा तो रहे हो, मुझे तुम कभी भी भुला ना सकोगे, न जाने मुझे क्यों यकीन हो चला है, मेरे प्यार को तुम मिटा ना सकोगे, मुझे तुम नजर से.
Wow. So you're a classical singer, if I'm not wrong, right?
I am, yeah, yeah. King Hindustani classical, yeah.
Which sense that in the Murkhyas you took. Okay, last but not least, I want my viewers to know your upcoming projects, and I'm hoping for a season 4 of Hostel Days as well.
You really are a Hostel Daze fan.
Yes, I am.
Uh, you do know that I'm not in season 3 and I won't be in season 4, though. You know that,
Don't tell
right?
me. Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
but I was
yeah.
hoping for a comeback in season 4.
That's not happening. Um, no, I really wish I can work with TVF again. They've been the most wonderful collaborators, but
Mhm.
as regards to my work that's coming up, there's Kho Gaye Hum Kahan that's coming up in
Yeah.
hopefully January next year, which is with Ananya and Sinhant.
Hmm.
Very excited about that. Then there's Superman of Malegaon, uh, which is a big ensemble cast. Shashank Arora, Vineet Singh, me, a bunch of other actors. Reema Kagti has directed that. And then there is a Hollywood show called Alien that I'd just begun filming, but because of the strike, we had to sort of postpone shoot because of the Hollywood strike that's happening.
Hmm.
Super excited about that. It's a Disney FX production, massive show, and yeah, I'll be filming in Bangkok for a few months for that.
Amazing, amazing. We are waiting for all of those. I'm hoping to see you in some other amazing projects as well. All the best for your future endeavors and your upcoming projects. Thank you so much for talking to CNN News 18 as well, Adarsh. Lovely to have a chat with you.
My pleasure, Sakshi. Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye bye.